Okay, so our first speaker, this is pretty cool for me. I actually haven't told you this yet, Michael, so you get to hear it for the first time. Can we get the notes back up? I just need, I need those notes. So back when I was kind of going through this struggle, maybe I don't need them, I don't know, we'll find out. Back when I was going through this transition, a PM that I work with, awesome, thank you, sent me a link to this Rands and Repose blog. And I read this article. The content's not super important. It was something about communication styles. But what really resonated with me is how uncomfortable I felt reading it. Like the person that wrote this is in like an awkward situation. And this situation doesn't have like a happy ending. Like there's no great way out of this. And I like that, right? Because I felt like a lot of what I was going through was pretty similar. So the other thing it helped me do is kind of made me realize I'm not alone, right? And not only was I not alone, someone else was going through this, which was good, but had gone through it in a way such that they had obtained a level of expertise that they could kind of put a pattern in place for this, right? And write about it, which was really cool. So it gave me a lot of hope. Like, all right, you know, my days feel pretty shitty right now. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna get through this, right? So for the person that gave me that hope and inspiration then, I hope that they can do that for you today. So I'm really happy to introduce Mr. Michael Lopp.
This is cozy. I like this. And now I'd have to lean down and fall. Oh my God, here we go. Awkward situation. Hi, how we doing? Hi. Where's my welcome to the jungle music? We're supposed to play, oh, that was too short, you didn't hear it. It was this really cool thing that they asked us to put the intro music before it, so I was being like, Axl Rose, like owning it here. It was too, you guys gotta blare that. You gotta like do that song, because all the other speakers have a great intro song. Welcome to the jungle. You're not supposed to see this slide, but I'm going to tell you about it because this is my QA slide. So you do a lot of talks, and they do things with your slides sometimes. And what this slide does, it's kind of cool, is you can see where the edges are. So whether you got the aspect ratio right, because you get everything right and the fonts aren't all tweaked and whatever. You can see whether your fonts are installed, because one of these is an image and the other one's the typeface. So they don't have Futura. It's not installed. You're like, holy shit. And then you can see whether it's the right deck and everything. So you're not supposed to see that. What was for me. This is what you're supposed to see. So you do a lot of these talks, and how it usually plays out is like this. Someone says that you like, says, hey, you want to go do this talk about this thing? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And they're like, well, what's your title? And I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And they say, great. And then they print it on paper, and it becomes like written in stone. And then you actually write the talk. And it's totally not what the title was about. So this was what it was going to be about, but it's not actually about this. It's going to be a different talk. A little bit about my background. I was at Apple for 8.5 years. I ran part of the macOS team, and I kept my head up and keep it away from the microphone. I went over to this wonderful place called Palantir for about 3.5 years. And then got tired of what I was doing there and decided to go back to building products and being an engineer. So I joined Pinterest 1 year, 2 months, 2 weeks, and 2 days ago. Not that I'm counting. The two other things that I did that are probably relevant, I wrote a book called Managing Humans, which is a career, yay. It's a good book. We're working on the 3rd edition right now, and I wrote another book called Being Geek, which is sort of a career handbook for individuals. So I've been writing a lot of stuff, but I also play this guy on the internet named Rands. Rands is a really interesting guy because he's not actually me. He's this guy I play on the internet, and he has this thing on Twitter. He kind of sounds like a fortune cookie all the time, and he sounds like a fortune cookie because what he's trying to do, what I'm trying to do with this disorder that I have, is that trying to jam as much wisdom as possible into 140 characters. And here's some of those gems, right? Saying no is a finite resource. Platitudes, banal platitudes. I'm trying to help, I swear to God. Busy is a bug, it's not a feature. Here's another one, which we'll talk about in a little bit later. Be unfailingly kind. Is this at all useful? I have a lot of followers, hooray! But is this all useful? I mean, I am trying to do something interesting here. I'm trying to condense wisdom into 140 characters. I'm an engineer. I like to be efficient. It's an interesting challenge. What are the 7 precise words that convey this large thing that I want to say? It's good writing, hopefully, sometimes. I want to deliver as much value in as few words as possible. It's efficient. But today, I want to talk a little bit about leadership, and I don't want to talk about the wisdom. I want to talk about something a little more basic. So, what is the most important thing we should do as leader of humans? How many of you have been a leader for more than a year? When I say leader, manager of people, write review, okay? Less than a year? Okay. Less than 3 months? How's it going? Welcome to the jungle. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to speak to the people who are like a year or less. You're probably looking for that great tweet. You're probably looking for that amazing piece of wisdom or that book you should read that's going to transform your leadership philosophy. This is a noble cause. This is not what this talk is about. Your job is to inspire the team. But here's the thing. Whether you're just starting or you've been a leader for a long time, this wisdom quest, these big things you should do, which are incredibly important, are only one place you should invest. There's another place you should invest, and this is going to be a kind of a boring talk because it's just a lot of common sense. You just have to invest in the blocking and tackling, the little things. These are actionable, small tactics that whether you're starting and have just started the gig or you've been doing for 8 years, I want you to remind you to eat your vegetables, which is why this talk is called the Vegetable Talk. Here's some vegetables. Corn, tomato, broccoli, carrots, potatoes. Pop quiz, which one of these is not a vegetable? Tomato, you are correct. Everyone's awake. Who needs Axl Rose? Let's put a pepper in there, because that is a vegetable. You're wondering if corn is a vegetable? We'll debate this in about 10 minutes. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Whether you're starting or whether you've just begun, whether you're starting, you wouldn't have been a leader for a while, there's this thing that's going to happen, and it's sort of this set of merit badges. I used to do this thing at a prior company at Palantir called the Amok mystery disasters, and they were basically situations designed, they were acted situations, Palantir engineers and employees, we'd put the leaders, new leaders, emerging leaders through these situations about horrible things that can happen to you as a leader. For example, you walk in the room, and you're part of my leadership program, and I give you a little note that says, hey, you're meeting with Dan, and Dan is your QA lead, and this is an unexpected meeting. And Dan, who's an actor, walks in. Dan says, hey, yeah, I have some news. And you're like, oh, what's up, Dan? He's like, well, I quit. And you have no idea. And on the spot, you have to figure it out. This is a merit badge. Because you're going to do something at this point. You're going to learn quite a bit, but you're going to act. And you're going to save him, or you're not going to save him. And at the end of this time, you probably should get a merit badge. Because after you've gone through that, you're like, holy shit, that was awful. And oh, by the way, there's about 6 or 7 of those disasters that you're going to go through. And they're my kind of leadership merit badges. And I want to talk about a little bit of them. I want to talk a little bit about how we're going to avoid some of these. Here's some of them. Influence without management authority. I love when engineers do this. I love when anyone does this. Delegate something you care about, something that you love. Hire a human, fire a human, put a human on a performance plan. Successfully deliver horrifically bad news. Have you had to do that? It's awful. You know what's also awful? Successfully receive said horrifically bad news. Lay a human off. Oh. Be deposed, ship a thing, ask for help from an enemy. Power move. It's a total power move. You can pull that off. Promote a human. Sit there calmly while a human loses their mind. Lead leaders. Fail spectacularly. All of these are things you're going to learn. It'd be great if you have merit badges. Someone should write a book about these if they haven't already. But here's the thing. All of these things, many of these things, they're powerful things to learn from. Some of them are avoidable, and some of them avoidable because you focus on the vegetables. This talk has range. I'm going to be talking to the new leaders. I'm going to be talking to the new leaders. I'm going to be talking to seasoned leaders. And let's just start by saying, welcome to leadership. How's the view from up here? It's pretty sweet, right? Yeah? You got a lot of visibility into a lot of different things, a lot of information around you. You're responsible for all these humans. It's kind of cool. The thing is, I don't know if 3-month guy ever knows this, but I know that 1-year guy or gal knows this. It's not actually shaped like this. It's actually a little bit different. It kind of feels a little bit more like this. The rude way to describe this is that shit rolls downhill. And someone asked me last night, hey, you're the head of engineering at Pinterest. What's that like? I'm like, it's pretty lonely. It's pretty lonely because there's about all of these wonderful engineers, all these people that I'm working with, and I'm responsible for all of them. It's not this at all. It's the weight of all of these folks and things they need to do and things I aspire for them and bizarre issues that they have. They're all straight focused right at me. It's my job to deal with that. It's a little bit lonely. It's a big responsibility. So let's talk about the vegetables. Number 1. Your job is information gathering, abstraction, filtering, and delivery. It's really simple. And there's one thing you should do every week, no matter what, at the same time, for the same duration of time. And I get sad. This is a vegetable. This is not novel. This is a potato. Have a one-on-one. Potato. I love potatoes. There are more of them than you. A huge and ongoing part of the gig is to take a piece of information A, move it to place A, move it to place B, move it to place C, listen as it moves around, gather that information, and make sure that everyone is aware of what happens while it's in transit. One-on-one. Same time, every week, no matter what. Question for all of you. It's 100 of us. It's kind of cozy here. Now, you have a boss. We all have bosses. Any CEOs in here? CEOs, raise your hand. No? Sweet. Hey, wait, HR, are you in the building? Oh, it's going to get cozy now. HR, hiding back there. How's it going? I'll keep it clean. Lawyers in the room? Lawyers? MBAs? Wow. Nice round. Okay, anyway, so this is totally cool. Awesome. I don't have to edit myself much at all. So you got to have a one-on-one every week. So you all have a boss. I have a boss. My boss has a boss. It's the board, right? Here's my question to you. Cozy little room here. What happens? What is the thing that you think when your one-on-one gets rescheduled? What doesn't happen that week? Now, you probably rationalize it and you say, hey, he or she is busy. You probably say he's got a lot going on, but there's this other side of your brain, other side of the brain does something. And I do this every time. I did this last week. Ben, CEO of Pinterest, was in New York. I didn't know he was there. It didn't happen. There's a part of my brain that said, I must not matter. There's this thing that gets created by the cadence of having a regular meeting with all of your team every week, 30 minutes, no matter what, same time, doesn't schedule, where they build trust, and they know that that's a time that we can actually have a conversation. We have Q&A after this. You can have questions about what I do in this. It's not a status report. It's hey, how's it going? You're a new lead. What's problems? What's going on? Every week, same amount of time, no matter what. That's vegetable number 1. I didn't even move along. Whew. You're underestimating the long-term cost of not saying the hard thing. We want to get along. My kind of job is peacemaker. That's kind of how I roll. It's one of my leadership philosophies. Like, how am I going to make sure these 322 people are getting along, moving along, and things are going well? There's a time and a place to say the hard thing. We as humans, we as engineers, I as an engineer, have a hard time doing this because I don't really want to piss people off. So let's talk about Jeff. Jeff is an engineer who doesn't actually exist. Jeff joined my team a year ago. He doesn't exist. He's not real. Don't tweet about Jeff. There's probably a Jeff at Pinterest who's like, I'm about to get fired. There's Pinterest people here. Really don't tweet anything. Okay. Jeff joined the team a year ago. He's a senior. He's a level 7 engineer, and he is amazing. What he adds to the technology stack is absolutely amazing. You can't imagine the world without him. Turns out Jeff's a jerk. And I've known this. I've given him some soft advice, but it's been a year now. We're into a new steady state. And Jeff's a jerk. He kind of blows up kind of randomly, kind of irrationally. And It's been a year now, and I haven't really said to him like the consequence of what's going on. Now, you as a leader, you have a Jeff or whatever this person's name might be, and there's the obvious cost to not actually dealing with this situation, which is, number one, what is the work that's not getting done? Because people are kind of scared of Jeff, and they're not coming and talking to him and doing the knitting and all that sort of stuff. That's number one. Number two is there's team morale, right? People are like, Jeff's amazing. He's like a senior engineer, but he's yelling at people, and we're not actually dealing with the situation, so team morale is actually going down. And then there's your sanity, because you know that there's something actually wrong here, but let's talk about me, I'm a little scared to actually say something. Here's the thing, that's only the obvious cost. Here's the non-obvious cost before we get to the vegetable, which is, it's actually a lot more expensive than you think, because it's you and Jeff, and it's kind of a little tense. Then there's Marcy, and there's Rob, and there's all these other folks that are around this situation, and they are all absorbing the cost of you not saying the hard thing. Your credibility is at stake. And over time, when you don't deal with a thing, it erodes in strange, awful political ways. Sometimes you can figure out why, sometimes you can't. There's the impact on the folks. If you think it's bad, and you're in that meeting, and you see Jeff doing, imagine all the meetings where you're not there and all the other interactions that he has in his network. It's actually much worse than you expect. And there's the sanity of the team. This is a hard one. This is a hard one to imagine, because I hired Jeff. I hired the guy, and he's like critical, technical function. And part of me just can't imagine him not being here. But the thing about it, and it's kind of a cruel thing to say, is that everyone is replaceable. Everyone. Also, super important, let's settle a dispute. Corn is a fruit, it's a vegetable, and it's a grain. Did you know that? Because I did this slide once before, and I got people like, corn's a maize, it's a grain. It's all three. Did you know that? Corn seed is a vegetable that is harvested for eating. I'm lightening because I said like everyone's replaceable, so this is light, okay? Corn seed is a grain because it can be a dry seed of grass or species, and corn seed is also a fruit because there's a botanical definition. Oh, and by the way, everyone is replaceable. Everyone's replaceable. Every time that I've had to let someone go, and it's in this case of someone I can't imagine letting go, here's the thing that's happened, and this is every time. This is a guarantee that I am giving to you. You let them go. It's awful. This vacuum is created, and what nature does is nature abhors a vacuum. Every time, this actually happened to me at Apple once, every time I let someone go, someone shows up that you didn't even know existed to fill the gap. They needed to have that gap there to actually rise up. So all that worrying, I'm doing, oh, well, Jeff's not going to be here, so the site availability is going to go down, and how the hell am I going to deal with X, Y, and Z? Every time, everyone is replaceable. That's depressing. Let's bring it up a notch. Here's another one. You probably hire people like you. It's very normal. You have a set of quirks, frequencies, things that you say, dialects, whatever it is. It's very normal for you to like to hang out with people that are on the same frequency. It's normal. It's not necessarily good for the team. It's actually really bad for the team. So I've been on this diversity kick for a while now, so I'm going to get a little foamy at the mouth right now. But here's the deal. From a social justice perspective, it's the right thing to do. Full stop. No argument. From a social justice perspective, diversity, having a diversity strategy, is the right thing to do. Anyone wants to argue with me that? I would love to argue with you about that. But here's the thing. On top of that just basic, like fundamental piece, it's a really good thing for your team. It's an amazing thing for your team. So there were these tests. When I went into this diversity thing, I did a lot of research because I had to explain it to engineers, and they want to see the facts and the measurables and all these sorts of things. So I did a lot of research. And this is one of the things that was absolutely fascinating to me, was this thing called the Ash conformity experiment. Now, what the test was, it's a simple test. Using the reference line on the left, tell me which line on the right is the same. Sir, what's your name? Matthew? Which one is it? Is it C? Are you sure? You really sure? I'm the speaker here. I'm the head of engineering at Pinterest. Are you sure that it's C? You sure? You're right. Now, what I did with Matthew, thank you, was really interesting because what they did in this test was they had 8 participants, 7 of which were actors, and 1 who was Matthew here with me putting him in an uncomfortable situation. And what they did is they did 2 experiments. The first experiment was everyone just voted and said, it's C. The other one was sort of like what I just did with Matthew here, was all 7 of the actors went first, and they picked the wrong line. They said, well, it kind of looks like C, but I think it's kind of an optical illusion, so it's A, right? And you can't imagine, because you're sitting here and you know that it's C, but what happened was 75% of the participants who were number 8, the folks who had free will, they did the wrong answer. They did the wrong answer because the other 7 folks were clearly like, it's A, it's A, it's A. It seems very strange, but have you been in that meeting? Have you been in that meeting when everyone's like, it's blue? And you're like, it's fucking not blue at all. It's totally green, and you all are crazy, but there's 7 of you, so it must be fucking blue, but I think it's green. It's groupthink. The thing that's happening is groupthink. We like people, and when you agree with me, that's kind of cool, right? Oh, it's social validation. Thank you for that. It's groupthink. This does not lead to better decision. This leads to the most convenient answer that feels right in the room. Having a diverse workforce means you get more friction, more diversity of ideas, less groupthink. It is incumbent on every one of you to carry our fair share of the burden of advancing diversity. It's completely unfair. It's not right to ask the people who are already disadvantaged to do all the work to be an advocate for this piece. Pretty heavy. Broccoli, it's pretty heavy vegetable. It's a heavy topic, but here's the thing. What I would ask you to do, the tactic, whether you're a new leader or a seasoned leader, if you're a seasoned leader, do the research. It's fascinating. Your teams are going to be healthier. You're going to get better outcomes. You're going to be more profitable because if you're a new leader or a seasoned leader, find one thing to work on. Find one thing to work on. There's this, I was at this offsite with the executive team at Pinterest 2 weeks ago, and we had this facilitator, and we were having this debate about the future of blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, we got to do this thing, and I'll put together a straw man. And the facilitator said, straw dog? And I'm like, straw dog? What do you mean? And everyone's looking and kind of like, straw dog. And she looked at me and she said, straw man versus straw dog. Straw man has this gender specificity, like it's more important because it's a straw man. And you make it a straw dog, you get the same thing, but it just takes a little language out of it. It takes a little gender bias out of it. It's a little small thing, but these sorts of things are a reminder of how we're going to make it an even playing field. Whew, that's a pretty heavy one. Let's keep going. How many of you have children? Show of hands. About 30%. Okay. So I have 2 kids, Claire and Spencer. And the thing that you learn with children, and it's the thing that you learn as a leader, is everyone's learning all of the time, whether you want them to or not. My daughter is the master manipulator. Claire, who is 13, we all work for Claire. My wife, Rochelle, Spencer, we all work for her. My slide notes are out, by the way, so we're going to wing it now. So I can totally wing it. So yeah, these 2 screens are up. So where did she get this skill? Where did she get this skill? She was watching me talk with my wife, my kids, and I've kind of got this thing where I'm like trying to work things out and kind of make sure it works all. And this is where she learned it. My son is the king of obsessing about a thing. He can take a thing and he just loses his mind on it. Warhammer 40,000, whatever the hell that is, right? He knows everything. He's got all the models. It's all there, just everything. He gets deep joy in exploring the complete flow chart of how it all fits together. Where did he get that? That's me, right? Because he saw me, whatever the passion was, I just lose myself in it. The thing that you have to remember is that I'm going to need my speaker notes at some point in the near future. The thing you have to remember is that the team is always watching you. That wasn't me. I didn't step on it, did I? Okay. Their team is always watching you. Every moment, they're learning from you. And the rules that you choose around how you're running your team are setting the tone. They're setting the cadence for what kind of team that you have. Tomato, not a fruit. It's pepper. Slides it back, hooray. It's a simple thing. It's a red pepper. Start and finish meetings on time. It's a super simple thing. It seems like an easy thing. Start a meeting on time. That's a kind thing to do. When I got to Pinterest, we kind of had Pinterest standard time, right? Everything started about 5 minutes late, and we sat there and we kind of giggled for the first 2 or 3 minutes about, oh, where's Bob? He's running a little late, right? 7 people in the room, wasting their time, 5 minutes times 10 meetings, do the math. It's kind of inefficient, it's kind of not cost effective, and it sets a bad tone about responsibility, about accountability. So I just start my meetings right on time. Whoever's in the room, if it's me and Matthew, I'm like, hey dude, want to take the Ask Conformity test again? While we're waiting for people to get started here. And the thing that happens over time is people just show up. People know that that meeting's going to start on time. And it cascades throughout the organization. It's a small, little red pepper vegetable, but it's something which will have lasting effect, and it sets the tone of your team. I love this one, because I'm bad at so many things. I'm bad at a vast array of things. Do you know what you're bad at? Do you kind of know what you're bad at? Your friends do, your wife, your husband. Just ask them honestly and say, what am I bad at? And my wife will tell me, you're the vision guy, your execution can be super shitty. Like, oh, really? I didn't know that. There are things that you are bad at, and your ego about being a leader, which was what Slifka was talking at the beginning, is like, well, I got to look what I know what I'm doing because I'm setting the example here. But this is ego messing with you. And I guarantee there's something you're horrifically bad at as a leader. And this leads us to what I consider to be one of the most important vegetables, is the following: the carrot. Delegate. Delegate. Give it to someone else, especially the things you're bad at. I have my entire career being a little type A and signing up for too many things, have eroded my credibility by signing up for too many things, thinking it was the right thing to do. Like, I'm the guy, so I better handle it, right? What I've focused on for really the last 3 years for Palantir and Pinterest is giving things to other people aggressively. And most of the things I know that I'm always going to get a B at. Each time you delegate something, it's an opportunity for someone else to learn. They're going to get better at it. And let's just say it's something you're really, really good at, and you give it to you, and you get a B. That's fine. That's more of my time to do other things. You get the opportunity to learn, and hopefully over time, if I'm a decent leader, you're going to get to be an A at that. I've scaled the team. This is awesome. Your classic blunder as a new leader, new leaders over here on this side, is that when the shit hits the fan, and it will because there's many leadership badges and you're going to earn them all, you do something that is kind of normal, is you regress. You go backwards. You go back to the skills that got you there in the first place. So we're behind, and we have more bugs that we have to fix, and it's clearly you're way behind, so you start fixing bugs again. This is exactly the opposite of what you want to do as a leader. You want to be able to give it to other folks. You want to learn about how to delegate and to get those things to other people so that you learn, they learn, team grows. For the experienced leader, delegation is the antidote to becoming drunk with power. You have to learn how to give away things that you love, even things that you're great at, because it's an opportunity for the rest of the team to succeed. How long do I have, Rob? 40 total. So I have to be done when? I got to dial that up or dial it down. I'm figuring it out. 10 more minutes. Okay, dial it up. Great. You're in a hurry. Ironic. You're in a hurry. You're in a big hurry. You've got a lot of things to do. It's Silicon Valley, high tech. You got things going on. A couple things I want you to be aware of. There is no way that you're going to have a complete assessment of all these humans on your team for at least 3 months. I have had this conversation 42 times in my career. New hire on one of my teams, the manager comes to me and she says, Sally isn't cutting it. I'm like, whoa, Sally, that was a big hire for you. And you did, I think it's been, what's going on? Well, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, whoa, that sounds bad. How long's it been? 1 month. I'm like, get out of my office, come back in 2 months. Here's the thing about these humans is they're fairly complex, and they go through this cycle when they go through change. There's the first month, which is sort of the honeymoon, when it's like, oh my God, this is amazing, and everything's great, and I'm at Pinterest, and this is so wonderful. And then there's the second month, and this is when everyone comes in my office and says, hey, we have to fire this person because everyone's replaceable. And they say, the second month is when I call it the great disappointment. It's when everyone just realizes that, well, they're human and they have flaws. Shit. And they overcorrect in the other direction. And they say, oh, okay, well, they don't walk on water, it turns out, so we must fire them. Where they actually get back into a regular state is the third month, and that's when you kind of get steady state and everything becomes normal and familiar and whatnot. But it takes time. It takes time for them to integrate into the organism and actually start networking. Here's the other thing. You're incapable of seeing what is fundamentally broken after about 3 months. Holy crap. You're in it. You're part of the system now. You're in the cadence. After 3 months, it gets really hard to see that it's broken because you're kind of moving and getting things done. You got to ask the interns, ask the new folks, please tell me. It's homework that I give to every Pinterest engineer that comes in. And says, you must send me a mail in the first 3 months. Tell me something that you see is broken. And it's things that I kind of hear, but I'm running and moving really fast. You have to be able to have some sort of signal, like with one-on-ones, interns, new hires. We're actually gathering that signal. Here's the other one. Constantly reacting, constantly dealing with things, feeling or running around and just having a to-do list and things that are every day is stuff that you're just crossing things off lists about the fires that are in front of you right now, usually means you don't have a plan and or that you're not being strategic. If you're in a constant fire drill mode, that's just reaction, and that's not strategy. The thing I want you to do, the radish I want you to do is like write down what your plan is. Write it down. Take some time to actually say, hey, these are the 3 things I want to actually go and do. It sounds really simple. You're probably thinking about it in the shower, but take the time to actually write it down. This is what I want to do. These are the 3 things. Doesn't need to be huge. It needs to be something simple and digestible. There are days where everything is going to feel like it's broken, where everything feels broken. This is those sorts of days. He's political. Ugh, he's annoying. I'm bored. It's not really good. People are coming in. I'm bored. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. Bored people quit, by the way. I quit. All of these things are coming together every single day. You've got to have a plan. You've got to have a set of principles that actually allow you to deal with it. So pick 3 vegetables. Pick 3 things that you want to work on. Here's 3 for you. Hold regular one-on-ones. Delegate your B work. Build a strategy. And actually on that last one, I think, and this is even more important, is define the set of principles. Your day is full of decisions all the time. And you're going to be making these decisions like this. The way you want to actually be able to actually make these decisions well is define a set of principles that actually give you a strategy, a rubric for figuring out how you're going to actually make decisions. And then you get to use that rubric to actually apply those principles with consistent judgment. When someone says, hey, what should we do at A, B? My answer is B, but here's the principle that I use to actually make that decision. It's really, really handy way for dealing with the politically messy humans that you're dealing with. Find a principle, stick with it. I play this game called Destiny. It's pretty freaking sweet. And you're like, where the hell is he going with this? It's about principles. I play this game called Destiny, and I play with this guy from Portland. His name's DJ. Never met DJ. Only talked to him on a headset. You can play Destiny by yourself, but it's far more fun to play with other humans. In fact, certain parts of the game, called raids, require more humans. Moreover, you require 6 humans who are acting as a team in order to defeat the bad guys and gals. Diversity matters. There are some challenges. The internet is full of colorful people and personalities, which means you're kind of rolling the dice when you're randomly connecting with people on the internet. And raids are complex affairs. Someone needs to lead or else everyone dies. It's called a wipe. But the thing is, it's volunteer leadership. I play with this guy named DJ. I am not joking at all, and I have witnesses in the room that can confirm this when I say that DJ is the nicest, calmest, kindest person I know. We've spent hours doing virtual battles together, and the thing I know about DJ is that he's just unfailingly kind. Do you need to leave a raid, and these are scheduled affairs that you plan for 24 hours, 2 hours to be with your family? DJ is running the raid. He says, no worries. We'll find someone else. It means that the other 5 people have to stop, find another person. How are you having difficulty fulfilling your role in this particular part of this raid, which is resulting in wipes? People getting frustrated? DJ is like, no worries. I'm going to explain to you how this works, because it's pretty cool. And he walks everyone through it again. Never played before this raid, never done this before, didn't mention this before it began. DJ, no worries. Let me walk you through this. I've sat with him, and he's just patient and kind about walking people through. Yes, he wants to play the game, but he also wants it to be just this great, healthy team experience. It's a leadership model that lends itself in volunteer situations when you don't have a leader who signs the paychecks and do this sort of thing. But my question to you is, why is it not a leadership model, a principle, for all situations? Be unfailingly kind. This is the one I've been using for like 6 months right now. This is the one I go back to. It's like, what's the kind thing to do? I'm not talking about nice. I'm not talking about not making hard decisions. What is the kind thing to do as a human? Now, you're thinking of an important leader right now. I don't know who he or she is. You're thinking of a story of this leader who is perhaps a dictator. It's a big decision maker. You're thinking of a story you've heard where this leader fired someone on the spot in the elevator. What do? That's stupid. You're fired. It's a good story. It is not good leadership. I'm Lopp. These are your vegetables. The typeface is Sentinel. Thank you very much.